Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we have a special guest today, and we are going to be talking about U.S. and India relationships. My special guest is Swadesh Chatterjee. He's from North Carolina. He is the author of a new book called Building Bridges. He is also a Padma Bhushan, and he has been greatly instrumental in bringing a civilian nuclear cooperation between the United States and India. Mr. Chatterjee, welcome to Triple N Talk Show. We are delighted to have you. Okay, let's start off with a little bit about your background.
I am basically an engineer.
Yeah.
I got a physics undergraduate, physics and engineering, and then I did my MBA from here. I came to this country in 1978, which is almost 36, 37 years ago, with my wife and a baby daughter. And my wife is a physician. I worked in India for 9 years and came to this country and worked hard, bought a company, sold the company, CEO for a long time. So I'm in North Carolina for the longest time, came from Rourkela, India to Raleigh, North Carolina.
I know you have been deeply involved with improving the relationship between the United States and India, and you spent a considerable amount of your life, I should say, dedicated to this particular cause. And maybe we can start off by educating our younger generation why there was such a disparity in terms of our relationship, even though we are the two largest democracies.
I think it goes back, if you look at it, in 1947, after the independence, the way the relationship I called, it was by this scholar, Dennis Cooks wrote a book, and title of the book was Estranged Democracy. In spite of the two largest democracy, the relationship was estranged. And the reason was very simple. The reason was that after the British colonial rule, India thought that if they are aligned to United States behaved like a cheap police officer of the world. They don't want to be under again another dominant power. That is first.
That's a very good point.
The second is, I think what was happening, United States felt that India is aligned much more to the Russia because of that reason. And as because the United States was closer to Pakistan, so India felt that it is very important that we stay independent and a secular nation, and we wanted to have their own sovereignty. We don't want to be under any power after 1947.
That's very fascinating. Was it India's choice to be more aligned with Russia, or how did it come about?
I don't think the India choice, because if you look at it, once India decided that they wanted to be a sovereign country and doesn't want to be under any Western power, so if you had to get technology and trade and the investment, the other power was Russia. So it is not that they chose to be aligned to Russia, but they felt for the betterment of the country, we have to align with somebody where I can get the
technologically more advanced.
And trade. And also the other point which is more important was the nuclear divide. Because India did not want it to sign the NPT. And because, as you know, Pakistan had the nuclear power, nuclear weapon. China is on the border, Pakistan is on the border. So India did not want to be sure there is a nuclear divide between the two countries. That also the relationship was strained.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Triple N Media. I'm Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Swadesh Chatterjee. He is from North Carolina, and he is an author of a book called Building Bridges, and he's also a Padma Bhushan. He's been greatly influential in bringing a civilian nuclear cooperation treaty between United States and India. Okay, let's talk about, you started this, what is called the political empowerment of Indians, and maybe you can elaborate on that one.
My father named me Swadesh, means own country, because I was born in 1947. So with name Swadesh, I left the country. I came to Videsh,
Videsh.
which is a different country. And I felt strongly when I came here, I saw the perception about India and Indian Americans as a whole is not good at all.
I see.
In fact, it was very, very bad. And like every Indians who come to this country in the 1960s mostly, we always mingle with our own fellow Bengalis. I am from Bengal, so people who are from Bengal, they mingle with Bengali. The people who are in Gujarat, they mingle with Gujarati. So Marathi mingle with Marathis. So I think we were creating a regional get-together instead of thinking the country as a whole, India. That we are all Indian, because the American policymakers or mainstream American, they doesn't know what is Gujarat, what is Bengal, what is Punjab, what is Odisha. So though I formed the Bengali Association, I felt strongly we'll be first all part of India. We are Indian first, then we are Bengalis. So once we become Indian, as we mature and become settled in this country, we felt now it is very important that once we are America, we had to be American first. Yes. We had to be American of Indian origin.
That's right.
We are American of Bengal origin. We are American of Gujarati origin. So I felt strongly after becoming the president of founder of Bengali Association, I become part of Indian society. Once I become part of Indian society, I decided it is very important part of the Hindu temple and the board. It is very important that everybody should be part of the mainstream. So there is an organization called Indian American Forum for Political Education.
I see.
That is the national organization formed in 1986, and I become a part of that, become the president of that for North Carolina chapter. And I feel strongly to educate first our people, become a mainstream, know your neighbor, know your superintendent of school, know your county people, know your mayor. So you know that you tell them that you are American, and also teach them and educate them about India. So I took that task in North Carolina. And then I made that chapter very vibrant, met with all the policy makers, including governor. So it became one of the best chapters in the country.
That's what I was going to ask. I've been in Houston for almost 35, 40 years, and in about the same time you came. And I have interviewed over 100 Indian associations on our talk show. That tells you how many different groups we have in Houston alone. And we continue to see that. And I was quite impressed with your ability to bring all these different associations together under one umbrella.
It took after a long time, and then after the North Carolina, I became the national president of the political party.
I see,
And that time, if you look at it in 1990, it was important to educate the people why they should involve in this political area. So it is the political education. So you educate your own people first, then you educate the policymakers. And we started educating the policymakers, and as you rightly said, there are so many organizations, 1.2 million Indian American, but there are 500 organizations.
I know.
And we are all very fragmented, as you know. Everybody still thinks in their own state. So it was not an easy task. Okay, so it was very, very difficult. But I was fortunate that we have a group of people try to work together. And when I become national president, I spend most of the time, and the organization spend most of the time, that only one issue. That issue was US-India relations, nothing else.
That was my next question. Is what were your main objectives in forming this coalition of all these different hundreds of fragments of Indian associations?
Actually, this coalition came much later when we did the US-India civil nuclear.
I see,
That was not the case before. Because as you know, there is a doctors' organization.
That's right.
They really promote their own issues, malpractice insurance, and how we can get Medicare cost. So this is all related to medicine. There is a hotel-motel organization. Their goal is the hospitality and tourism, how we can improve. And then there is a FIA who does the parade and other things. So everybody has a different agenda. No organization was there whose agenda was how to become mainstream, how to educate the policymakers in those days. So what we did is we really focused on the policymakers to know about India and the US-India relations, and we are very successful. we are successful during my tenure as the presidency of Indian American Political Forum. We could convince President Clinton also, we played important part to go to India after 1974 of President Jimmy Carter. We went to White House to brief President Clinton. So we were a powerhouse that time, and we brought India on the radar of the United States. India was not there anywhere.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and that brings me to the next question. Of course, we had strained. I came in '74, and ever since I can remember, we had strained relationship. I mean, it's nothing animosity, but it's just we are not, close friends as far as U.S. and India is concerned. And what changed minds in Washington, and how did you influence the politicians? You convinced the Indian groups, subgroups, to sort of look at it from a global perspective. How did you get the Washington politicians to think along the same lines?
Yeah, so what we did is, before President Clinton just after when Clinton was taking the trip, as you know, in 1998, India did the nuclear test. And after the nuclear test, the relationship which were trying little bit, it went down again. Because
I thought that would draw more attention.
More attention, but also the United States put sanction against India. As you know.
I remember
it was 1998. That time I was just getting president-elect and taking over the presidency. So when we convinced President Clinton to go to India, the President Clinton's India trip, I was accompanied with him also. On the trip, President did a fabulous job. That he went, spoke in the parliament as well, and every party, including opposition party, they are ready to shake hands and see. So he really charmed the people of India during his trip. So that started a little bit, and also when the nuclear test happened, fortunately, by default, the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, who was the most powerful committee in the Senate. That chairman was my senator from North Carolina, called J.C. Helms.
J.C. Helms,
And J.C. Helms was a conservative, was a racist. He is against India, against Indian American, and he became the powerful chairman. And I got to meet him because I was the leader that time. They wanted me to support him. So somehow, when I went and met him, I told him, Mr. Chairman, you are racist. Perception is you don't know anything about India. The perception you don't support Indian American. So no way my community will support you. And you are the one who took Benazir Bhutto to introduce to other senators and told that she is the Prime Minister of India. So you have no idea about India. So by this dialogue, I got a very strong relationship with him. And he helped me when the sanction is going on. And I requested him to meet with the Indian Foreign Minister and Planning Commission Chairman Jaswant Singh to come from Delhi to meet with J.C. Helms. Never happened. So that broke the ice for the sanction to be lifted against India. After the nuclear test, the sanction doesn't work. We had an article in the Washington Post front page, the clout of Indian Americans. And every quarter, we used to have a meeting in Washington with the Indian American leader, with the think tank, with the business people, and a senator and a congressman every quarter. And the theme is US-India relations. All-day conference, different topics about trade, about the nuclear divide, about what is the relationship with China. So we showed a presence in Washington every quarter, discuss about openly all the issues.
Repetition
works. Absolutely. So we did that for 2 years. So there is a buzz about US-India relations in Washington. We could lift the sanction and we could bring J.C. Helms on our meeting. That gave me Padma Bhushan. The government of India.
That's fascinating. Congratulations on that one. We're going to talk about that.
I realized that this man is really doing something which never happened. I was just amazed that how it happened. And not only that, we could arrange Prime Minister Bajpayee to speak on the joint session.
I see.
J.C. Helms meeting with Bajpayee at my request. First time, they could not believe that Prime Minister of India will meet J.C. Helms. They could not even think of in India. So that gave me Padma Bhushan because of that work that time. Then later on, I did the coalition, and I'll come back when you talk about nuclear treaty.
Okay, when Clinton, who else came with Clinton?
With Clinton, with all the secretaries, defense secretary, Madeleine Albright, a group of industrialists, business people, entrepreneurs.
So
when
they came to India, what were their objectives and what did they accomplish?
Yeah, in fact, it's very, very, very good question you asked.
Yeah.
When President Clinton decided that he went to India, I got a call from White House telling that Swadesh, President Clinton would like a briefing from Indian American leaders what President should do when he goes to India. So when we got the invitation, I called 12 people around the country, the leaders from Silicon Valley to Chicago to Florida, and met in the White House. But President Clinton trying to go to India, he was also planning to take a trip to Pakistan.
I see,
And government of India did not want Clinton to go to Pakistan. Because President of United States after 1974 going to India, they want to go to India only and make a separate trip to Pakistan. So I got a call from Indian ambassador, Naresh Chandra. He said, Swadesh, I understand you are going to have a briefing. So please come to us night before and have dinner. And you are calling these 10 people. I said, Mr. Ambassador, thank you for the invitation, but I cannot come to the dinner. He said, why you cannot come? I said, we are going to go to a briefing at the White House. And if I go to Indian embassy for your house, the people's perception will be that Indian government is telling us what to say.
What to do, rather than the individual.
We're glad to come to dinner, but after the briefing.
That's right.
So when you went to White House for this briefing, first question they asked, Swadesh, what do you think the president should go to Pakistan? I said, I'm an American. I'm an American of Indian origin. For the national security interest, if the president thinks he should go to Pakistan, that is decided by the White House. We came here to talk about what president should do
in India. That's a good answer.
So president went to Pakistan for 1 hour. And he gave such a strong message to Pakistan about the line of control, LOC, that Indian government was so happy. They were against that, but after the trip, and we, president, it was so nice of him. When he came to Delhi, first thing he did, he met with us in separate reception with only Indian Americans. So president's trip, two things. President's trip was try to reiterate that India is a very important country for the United States. We have a lot of common between United States and India, rule of law, democracy, freedom, equality. So I think we should work together much more closely. And people of India, after hearing President, they were really ecstatic. That he really, all this animosity.
He's a very charming person. Very, especially as an orator.
As an orator, speaker, the warmth.
I mean, to me, he's almost same level as Ronald Reagan. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
Absolutely right. So that opened up, that broke the ice. Okay? And after that, he invited Prime Minister Vajpayee. As you know, it was Prime Minister Vajpayee who felt that we, NRI, they play a very important role in the relationship. Not before that. Indian government before used to think we are NRI, we left the country, this country has given the education, they came to America earning dollars, and they come back and show us dollar in the country. They never thought that we can play an important role.
That's right.
It was Atal Bihari Vajpayee who came and thought that we can give lot of things, that brain drain, it is not brain drain, it's brain gain.
That's right.
So I had to give lot of credit to Prime Minister Vajpayee. He came to Washington, as you know, and have a dinner, state dinner. And I was there, state dinner. And while Prime Minister Vajpayee was in Washington, I did an event also in the US Chamber of Commerce. What is the future of the relationship? How it will go? So that trip started to break the ice. And then lifting the sanction, it helped.
So let's talk about this civilian nuclear cooperation agreement. And why is it that they were interested in the nuclear agreement? Because they wanted to get more insight into our nuclear program, or what inspired them to get into this agreement?
You know, as I told you, one of the reasons of estrangement between the United States and India was the nuclear divide.
I see,
Because 1998, India did the nuclear test. What it means, the India has proven to the people that we have the nuclear weapon. That is given. So once you have a nuclear weapon, and if you did not sign the NPT,
that's right. You're not part of the treaty.
You are not a part of the club.
Yeah.
There's a club. There's a nuclear club.
That's right. Yeah.
5 countries. And the United States and the club, they are telling that you are not allowed to come to the club anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you sign this NPT or you have shown us that you have the nuclear weapon before certain date.
Yes.
China did test. China showed that they have the nuclear weapon after this time. But still China is a part of the club.
I see.
And they are telling India that you sign this NPT, that you won't show or you won't do any testing.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you will get the nuclear power, nuclear technology to do.
I see.
So India was isolated for 34 years.
I know. That's a pretty long, considering that the only 2 democracies that exist
very long.
Large in the current world.
And the problem is that they have other countries like Israel, like Pakistan. They also have the same thing.
Yeah.
They also signed the NPT. So what Bush has done, Bush got a very good advice from around the people.
Yeah.
Telling that, for India, you should do a special consideration.
Yeah.
Though India did not sign the NPT, we know that India has the nuclear weapon, but India needed the nuclear energy pretty bad because India's population is high, energy demand is very high, and they are getting mostly oil from imported oil that is creating a lot of green gases. So for environmental reason, for India, nuclear weapon has developed by scientists and technologists in India. They did not go they did not buy from Pakistan, they did not buy from China. So India never proliferated. Though India has the nuclear technology, but they never went and sold it in the black market.
That's right,
So India is a responsible country, knows how to handle nuclear technology. So let us make a special consideration for India to give the technology so that they can have nuclear power plant, nuclear reactor.
So how did you bring the leaders from 2 countries, and who were the main people instrumental in this?
President George W. Bush announced this first in Washington DC in 2005 March, and then when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh came, then President Bush went to India in 2006 July, and he announced in Delhi. But in United States, the way the policy works, the president can announce some policy.
It has to be.
It had to be because there is
approved
a
by the House
1954 Atomic Energy Act.
I see.
The Atomic Energy Act, only you can give a waiver if the Congress of the United States, House and Senate
that's what
agrees that yes, it can be given waiver.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of executive actions going on.
Now,
but I think they were a little more restrictive at that time.
Absolutely. Particularly nuclear, become a part of the nuclear club and to give a waiver. That means what you are giving is, you are giving India a special consideration. In spite, India did not sign the NPT. So they may announce the deal, but it was very difficult because the White House was controlled by Republican. Democrat was controlling the House. Democratic was controlling the Senate. Senate was controlled by Republican, but House was controlled by Democrat. So on this environment, to get it passed through the Senate and the House, it was very, very difficult. And the reason is very simple. Because people like, there are nuclear experts, theorists, and the people who did that, they are very much for NPT. They want this proliferation thing. So they did not want this deal to happen.
I see.
Second is Bush was politically not very strong, weak. And then there was a election year going on. So nobody want to take the chance how the people will react. So it was like the people told me when I went to the Senate congressman to get the support of this deal, he said, Swadesh, why you are wasting your time and money? It's a DOA. What is a DOA?
We use that in medical field.
Dead on arrival. So that's absolutely right. So there's no chance.
When they come to the emergency room, it's what they call a DOA. That means don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time. That's what my congressman said. No chance.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Swadesh Chatterjee. He is from North Carolina, and he is the author of Building Bridges. He is also a Padma Bhushan, and he was greatly influential in bringing the civilian nuclear cooperation between the United States and India. Okay, let's talk about after the Bush era is over, how has been the relationship between India and United States in many different aspects?
You know, this nuclear deal, when it's going on at nuclear deal, this whole lobbying in the Senate and Congress, that has a buzz in Washington.
I see, yeah.
That it is Indian American, us.
Yeah.
That we are so important and we are so powerful that we can influence the policy of the United States. A small fraction of this Indian American. Only that time we were only 2 million.
That's it, yeah.
2 million can change the policy of the United States and influence the Senate and House.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to join the bandwagon. So India was everywhere.
Yeah.
Not only that, the perception was any bill you want to pass in the Congress and Senate, you had to put something about India.
That's interesting.
We become so powerful. So if you look at it, the bill was signed in 2008. So from 2008, then there's election in the Indian government. As you know, that whole bill was sitting in India for 18 months because there is a problem with the parties. And Dr. Manmohan Singh took a no confidence motion. And that also gave Dr. Manmohan Singh the winning result after the nuclear deal.
I see.
So nuclear deal helped also to change the outcome of the Indian election. But what happened, unfortunately, that India was not ready to take advantage of this momentum of the nuclear deal of the United States. So relations was much, much better. But after Prime Minister Modi came in power, he has got a, Dr. Manmohan Singh and Dr. Bush had a very good equation, very good chemistry. But India could not move fast enough because there was not enough initiative to take advantage of this momentum. But after Modi came in power, I think our relationship is the best I've ever seen. Between United States now India's world fifth largest trading partner. Indian companies now acquiring US companies. They're creating 91,000 American jobs. Indian companies acquiring American companies. Creating jobs. It is not the outsourcing. Insourcing. So Indian people buying the US
American
companies
company,
and put American jobs. And between US and India, the trade now exceeded more than 100 billion. India now buying defense equipment from United States. The relationship between two countries with their partner, that depends on three factors. One is trade, second is nuclear, third is defense. And now India is now not a junior partner or senior partner. They are real partner. So now they are calling India is the greatest ally of the 21st century.
It's fascinating because Donald Trump brings about trade deficit between the United States and all other countries and all this. At that time I did some research and I found out India has $50 billion trade deficit with China. I couldn't understand for the world of it, why is India buying stuff from China with 1 billion people on our soil? Why aren't we producing and why aren't we exporting this to other countries, including America? It was kind of this one. Is the United States' interest more so economic and military towards India, or is it bilateral?
I think if you look at it, it is bilateral. United States definitely, as a capitalist country, United States always look at the economics. It is stupid economics you look at it. Economics is very, very important. Economics play a very, very important role. So United States interest is threefold. What is economics?
That's right.
Second is definitely defense. And why we did the nuclear deal? Because nuclear power plant is about the billions. So if Westinghouse and other people supply reactors, the 3 nuclear power plants already earmarked with the United States. Gujarat, Andhra.
So they are going to build the nuclear.
They are going to build. Westinghouse will give the reactor. And the other GE will give the reactor. So nuclear power plant means their ancillary job.
That's right.
Billions dollars of that will create employment in India. That will create employment in the United States.
That's true.
And also it will help to get the environment clean. And India needs energy. Now, the other issue we had to think about that one is the free flow of people, the talent,
That's right.
the IT, the services. If you look at it, what we wanted that India should be treated like Europe.
That's right.
People can come back and forth.
Yeah.
There is no restriction. There should be free trade, and India should be the free trade agreement NAFTA with India. You know, look at the science.
Are we going to see that in the future?
In my, I don't know whether I'll see this lifetime or not, but I'm telling you, it is not that far off.
I see. Yeah.
It is the way things are happening, the way it is going, and if we continue, but what is happening? There is a old boys club in India. Still, they have this notion that United States cannot be the real partner.
Yeah.
You cannot trust United States, the old boys club.
That's right, yeah.
But the new generation, they feel very strongly that United States can be the real partner.
See, if you look at it economically, there's not a whole lot in Europe except Germany who are, able to produce something. So for United States, the only logical country would be India because they're importing $500 billion from China, trade surplus. And Japan is the same thing, one-way direction. So India may be the only country where they may have a two-way traffic.
Absolutely. And also you think about that in that part of the world, except Japan, who can be the greatest friend of the United States? Nobody. It had to be India, with so much commonality with the people.
I mean...
and look at today, never happened before. Today the US ambassador to India is an Indian American.
Yes.
48 years old rich Burma. Can you ever thought about it? That India will be the US ambassador to New Delhi?
Plus also so many executives of the top secretaries like Microsoft, Apple, all these things.
Apple, and look at the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, of Indian origin. Ambassador is Indian origin.
Okay, let's talk about your book, Building Bridges. Give us a little brief overview and what people can expect to see this. I guess this is available on Amazon.com, right?
Building Bridges, I felt when I was sitting on the front row of the East Room of the White House in 2008, President Bush witnessing signing the US-India Civil Nuclear Treaty. I felt that it is very important for me to write this journey, that from the humble beginning from rural Bengal, that how this is possible to have this US-India Civil Nuclear Treaty. That prompted me to write the book. The book is like a 5-act of a play. So, chapter 1, so I set the stage in the book, so that the readers get an understanding of my personal humble beginning, how I came from a small town, and what my parents, my sibling taught me. So there are a lot of me on this book, and the first chapter about the second generation Indian American, whosoever reads, to get an understanding about me as an individual. Then second chapter of the book is that how we came to this country and getting ourselves established, and try to give them a picture of what the relationship was, how bad what was, why it is estranged, the logic behind what is the estrangement all about. That's the second chapter. In the third chapter, we talked about that how we came here and how as an immigrant and with working and getting settled, why it is important to get involved in the political process. So how we can come out from a pond, a fish or somebody who is swimming at the pond and then go to a lake, and how that goes about. That
transformation.
How I become from Bengali to India to become an American, and how we are educating. So third chapter tells about that going forward. And chapter 4 talks about the complexity, the exhilaration of the US-India Civil Nuclear Deal. And we told that nuclear movement was not about nuclear weapon or nuclear power. It is really, we are not a lobbyist for nuclear industry. We are not a lobbyist for the government of India. We felt there is a fundamental misunderstanding between the United States and India.
It's building the bridge between the two countries.
So chapter 4 is the whole chapter talks about the US-India Civil Nuclear Deal, how it happened, how we lobbied, and what prompted us. and how we could bring all these graduates, AHUA, API, IIT, all together for one cause. That is the biggest challenge than US-India civil nuclear deal, as you know. So for that cause, everybody came together. And I have got one chapter before that dedicated about how I build up the relationship with Jesse Helms.
I see.
How these sanctions was lifted, how I got connected with Jesse Helms, my first meeting with Jesse Helms, and how that became a good relationship. So I have a chapter on that. And the last chapter I had, what is the future? What is the future of US-India relations? So this book is about all those together.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we have been talking about building bridges. And my the author is Swadesh Chatterjee. He is from North Carolina, and he was greatly influential in bringing up the civilian nuclear cooperation and getting Bill Clinton to visit India, and also George W. Bush. Okay, let's talk about what you see is the future of this relationship, and what is your advice to the Indian government as to how they proceed?
As you know, I was advisor to the Prime Minister Manmohan Singh for 4 years, member of the Advisory Council, and I first consider myself American, back and forth. I am out of India, but India is not out of me.
That's right.
So it is very difficult for me to give any advice to the government of India.
I see.
But all I can say that this relationship is going up and up and up.
I see.
But any time the way I compare is that when you are dating somebody, I call courtship, and when you are married. So when we are married, there is a lot of compromise to be made. When you are married, give and take, and to keep the marriage from divorce or for breaking up, there is a lot of responsibility. So India as a country now have to be much more, they have got a tremendous responsibility. The responsibility is as a nuclear power. Responsibility is as a defense supplier and working in the United States with now defense technology and transport. Working on the United States more than 100 billion in trade. So India now have to bear that responsibility very well. India's 55% population is 25 and under. Just imagine, 1.2 billion people, 55%. 600 million is 25 and under. So India has responsibility to educate those 600 million for the skill development, for the literacy. So India has lot of things to do. And there is nobody in the world, there is no reason that United States cannot be the largest trading partner. United States can be greatest ally of the 21st century, because we are talking equal. We are married now. So I think though, if I am very hopeful, because this new India, the new generations of Indians in India, they are so confident, they are so much talented. So I think I really believe that Goldman Sachs said, the next, by 2020, 2050, India, which is the only country, will keep on growing at the rate much more than any other country. There is no global problem which cannot be solved with US-India cooperation. So I am very optimistic. It is the happiest day for the last 2-3 years, 5 years, what I am seeing. But I have seen the bad days.
I know.
And nobody will talk to us. We keep on knocking the door.
I know.
I said, listen to us, look at this country. Nobody will talk to us. And seeing today, people call me that how can I be member of this India team? It's amazing. So I'm very hopeful. But Indian American community has a responsibility. They can play a very important role to make sure this relationship in the right track.
Absolutely. Since right after the World War II, United States and England, got together, and they have been in a steadfast relationship. Would we be seeing the same kind with India as we move forward?
I am very hopeful. The only way it can, one thing we have, before the relationship between United States and India is controlled by the State Department, Washington, foggy water. and the New Delhi South Block. Nothing in between. So when the relationship is strained, nobody is there to hold it up. Now we, Indian American, played such an important role that when I think the things are bad, so we are there to hold it and try to make them understand. That's what the bridge is coming. Who else can be the better position than us, which India gave us our life and United States gives our livelihoods. So we understand the two countries very well. I call myself and ourselves the children of two parents. One is Mother India, who give us a life, and the United States. So we understand. So we are there as long as we continue to become part of the political process. So we can hold it together. We can go and educate and told the United States that look, there had to be misunderstanding. Why don't you sit down in the round table and talk instead of going and thinking something?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to Swadesh Chatterjee, and he is from North Carolina, and he is also a Padma Bhushan, and he has written a book called Building Bridges, which is available on Amazon.com, and he has been greatly influential in changing the whole course of history between India and United States, in bringing a harmonious relationship between United States and India in many fields, I should say. And Mr. Chatterjee, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and good luck, and hopefully we'll continue to see some very good relationships and bilateral benefits from your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.